Welcome everyone to the Pro Trader Room Plus. We're here for the Oil Open, the US Open, and ISM Manufacturing. My name is Lee Goldstein, the Trading Director for 10-Minute Trades. Please remember, all the trades we discuss are for educational purposes. You've been testing a Galaxy A10. Yeah, the that's a pretty low res, not low res, but it's one of their low cost phones. Right, Calvin? It's like 300 bucks or something like that. That phone. I think that A series, they still get pretty good reviews, believe it or not, the Galaxy A to A's. They're just, mid-range specs, I think, if I remember. Why'd you get
Arabia,
it?
citing sources, says a giant ship flying the Panama flag explodes in Iraqi territory waters.
Why'd you get it? It cost 1,000. You don't mean 10,000. You mean 1,000. I want to get a 77-inch OLED TV. That's what I'm looking at right now. And I have an 85-inch QLED that I hate. I don't
Iran
hate it,
says
but I
will to
want an
ensure
OLED.
Japan ships passage through Hormuz with greater ease.
Oh, okay. I was gonna get a spinal cord stimulator at one time. I just didn't feel like doing it. All right. It's so much fun getting old. All right, everybody. It's a new day. It's a new week. It's a new morning. Oh, that's terrible. I'm sorry to hear that. I'll bet that was really horrible. Yeah, that stinks. You could wind up with sepsis. Um, I don't have a setup at the moment for oil, but I would not
That's
have
a
been
post from
jumping
Iran's
on an oil
president
short
Pezeshkian on Telegram.
when oil is up. It was up $3 when I first started looking. Now, my feeling about oil is I don't think I'm going to trade the 9 o'clock breakout anymore. But I'll look at oil when we get here. And if there's a scalp, I might be willing to take it like we did Friday. But I don't think I want to trade the 9 a.m. breakout anymore because it doesn't work. It stinks. And I don't want people following me and doing it when it stinks. There's no point in taking that trade. Now, the one day of the week that I have interest is Monday. That's the only day I'm a little bit more interested in trying the breakout at 9 o'clock. So I might try it today, but I'm planning on looking more at scalping it if there's a great opportunity. So what that means, two things. You got to have a reverse continue on the chart right away the second you get here. Excuse me. The size, you don't want to take all that much risk, I don't think. So I do a 25 tick target and a 25 tick stop, just one position, and I label it CL reverse continue. And then the account, I got to look at my accounts. I don't even know what I'm trading this morning. Um, I don't even know how the week wound up. So let's take a look at our accounts and see what we blew up last week, what we didn't blow up, what we brought back from the dead. I know, how can the market be up? It's insane. The markets are completely fake. They're not related to anything. They are their own world. When there's horrible or unbelievably good news, they respond. Otherwise, the markets just do what they want. Completely fake. Not fake is the wrong word. Not based in reality anymore. The markets have nothing to do with reality. So I still have this little account number 29. I think I'll trade. That's the one I almost ruined last week, and then we made a whole bunch of money on news. Um, I've got two funded accounts at the moment, and that's all I want. I have one account that's only about 20 bucks away from being funded, and I'm just waiting to get my other funded accounts in better shape. I think it's just too, I don't want to trade that many funded accounts at one time because you make dumb mistakes when you don't pay attention. I guess we'll use account number 46 on oil. That's just a regular old prop account. I'm waiting for a couple of props to rebill. I believe two of them are rebilling tomorrow. So we'll have more than enough accounts to screw around with. And then our funded accounts, I'll get into those when we trade them in a little bit. And we have a new trade for everybody. Absolutely should YOLO it, without a doubt. If it's only up $100, go for broke. What do you got to lose? Or you could just forget it. Just let it rebill. I mean, it's all, you know, I mean, I totally get it. We've talked about how this is monopoly money half the time, but not when you're funded. When you're funded, it's real because people are taking
IDF
money from their
anything that
accounts.
sirens warn of hostile aircraft infiltration in the north.
So, I mean, that much we know. People are taking money. So, you should treat everything like it's cash, but the reality is we don't. We don't because we're constantly testing setups. Constantly testing setups. And that's okay for us. So oil, if oil were great, I'd trade it in account 29 because account 29's almost halfway to being funded, but it's not great. So right now I'm just going to trade it in our regular 46. I'll put the breakout on this morning against my own better judgment. I'll put my oil breakout on. I'm going to load it. And then I'm going to teach everyone a new setup. We have a new trade. We have a pre-open MNQ NQ new trade. Now, what am I looking for? My oil new open. Oil new open. We're going to right click it. I feel pretty good this morning. I don't know. This is the first time in about 3 weeks that I feel good. I've been feeling so crappy for the past weeks. I mean, terribly crappy. 6126 is the date. I'm going to load it up. Oh, shit. Hang on. Hang on, folks. Sorry. Okay, sorry. Okay, our oil open, it's going to trigger at 8:59:59. I'm putting it on zero for a minute because we'll check the bracket. Today it's got a bracket of 20. Position 1 is a 1, position 2 is a 1. Target 1 is 8, target 2 is 20. Stop is 25, and target 1 stop move goes to break even. So like I said, it's labeled CL breakout open. I'm going to test the bracket with the time on zero. Charts on Sim. I want to, it's Monday, so I'll give the breakout one last shot. If this
Order
breakout
submitted.
isn't perfect
Order canceled.
today, then I'm going to move ahead with my plan to possibly just occasionally scalp the oil market open, pre or after, and just for a minute or two, if we're here and we're doing, it's available. So if we're here early, like most mornings, I like to get here at 8:45. It's just a time that I like. The oil open is 8:59. 59 is our trigger time. Actually, my back is good, Frank. It's not my back that's my problem. My back got better over the years. I have nerve damage from when I was hit by a car riding my motorcycle that like 4 Thanksgivings ago. And it just gets worse and worse, and nobody can help. Unfortunately, cream is not going to help me on that one. So bracket of 20, stop of 25, account 46, and put the chart trader on 46. And I'll put a magnet on oil as well. Magnet. We could put on the high of day, low of day for a minute, but I'm going to wind up turning it off. Just one position with a -3 target default, 25 on the stop. Label it CL magnet. Notice I'm not programming any of the buttons because we already programmed a reverse continue. If you have the ability to have a reverse continue through our other software, you don't need to program the buttons on the control panel. This week I'm going to do a magnet webinar. Go over all the 2.0 again. So it'll be a good refresh, programming the buttons, all the new features, signals, whole bunch of stuff. It'll be good. So we have a breakout and we're programmed. It's a fairly tight range on oil this morning. So, the highs and lows, I don't think they're going to get tested at the moment on the open. I'm going to put them on off. All right. I'm going to put our magnet on the YM. The YM's in a very tight range this morning. I may wind up waiting for the open.
Again, Iran's President Pezeshkian disturbed from another wire here, citing state media this time. In a call with the Japanese PM, says Iran has full readiness to facilitate marine traffic.
So the YM magnet, a stop of 40, default target of -3. Right now I'm just using one position at the moment, and I'm going to do a quick program of the buttons because I don't have time to do a whole bunch of other stuff right now. So position 1, 35 ticks, 35 stop. Notice that's the default now. So for YM, NQ, many instruments, even gold, the button is pre-programmed where if you forget to set it up, you won't get killed on an incorrect setup. Same thing on the ARS, the signal enter now button, 35 on the target, 35 on the stop. I'd use a tiny bit bigger stop on the YM, usually 40, 45. But the defaults are now programmed so that if you took a trade and forgot to program the buttons, you wouldn't immediately get stopped out because your trade values were all incorrect. You'd have time to manage it. And then the YM, where are we going to trade the YM this morning? I think we can trade the YM on 29. I want to get that account cracking. RTY, I don't have time to do anything right now on the RTY. Now we have a new setup. Right after the oil open, I'm going to teach everybody a new trade. YM magnet. That would have been a good signal to take. Look, you know why? Look at all the new highs that got made. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 12 new highs. That's a good time to try a signal, especially when you got that that smooth jazz kind of momentum. You see how that's just beautiful, smooth jazz momentum? Tends to be good signals when the momentum looks like that. It's a little choppier. This time of day, 6 p.m., not my favorite signal time of day. And keep in mind, that's like a longer time frame chart. That was a 15-minute chart. Signals can be used on many different time frames. Good morning, George. So YM,
The
right
FX spot
now,
Sun
we're
rate
just
unchanged at
watching.
spot
I'm not
62% on the
jumping
29th of
into
May.
any quick trades yet. I'm not sure. Usually when I get here, I have a good sense what I think is going to happen with the markets. I do not have a good sense today, to be honest. I realize they're up, but the world news is very strange this morning. There seem to be a few missiles flying between the U.S. and Iran. So we're going to get a bracket here.
Order submitted.
The oil open, it's not a very attractive trade for me. This is not the way that I like to take an open where there's no response and then you have to wait a minute or two and maybe it'll go in a direction that makes sense. Maybe it won't. So I'm going to just pass on it this morning. I'm not sure, honestly, what direction I like on oil. I was
Order
initially
canceled.
thinking long because it was up over $3 when I first started looking at oil. And then it started selling off here when we got here. And I was thinking, I wonder, is it going to, go all the way back to R1 or back down to the low? Because we're in a fairly tight range. And I'm really not sure, to be honest. So rather than just start the week off with a bad scalp, I would rather wait until I'm feeling like I have a better sense of direction. I do not have a good sense of direction right now. So we're going to say goodbye to oil at the moment. I'm going to show everyone a new trade. So first let's set our YM up. We have our magnet is set up. Let me just show everybody the YM magnet one more time. I'm just trading a one position this morning. Magnet. High of day, low of day, but two contracts. -3 default target and a 40 tick stop. All right. And my buttons, position 1 on the reverse continue is a 35 tick target and a 35 stop. And if I get a signal and I use the ARS enter now button to take the signal, it's also a 35 target with a 40 tick stop. And I will put a reverse continue on the chart. So we'll go to News Trader, reverse continue YM. And because I'm really uncertain about direction, I'm just going to trade one contract on my scalps. 35 on the target, 40 on the stop for the moment. And that will be labeled a YM reverse continue. And we're trading YM on account number 29. Apply it, okay it. So we've got our YM magnet, and that's on. And I would be interested in a high of day, low of day before the open. Maybe the YM is going to test 51128, the previous open, any minute. Any minute. So you would target that by clicking manual entry price. And that would give us about 22 ticks of profit if it filled at 50. Let me see something. Wait a minute. Oh, I'm wrong. I have to target the right place. Day open is the orange. That's day open. Now it makes sense. Entry is 50. If you make it automatic, should the price go down. Like I said, I'm feeling more, I want to go for the highs and lows this morning. So I'm going to go back to highs and lows, high of day, low of day. I'm not in a rush. It's after 9 already. It's after 9 already. Okay, RTY. Let's get our RTY set up. Right click, reverse continue on the RTY, one position, 35 target, 35 stop. That's my RTY. RTY gets funded and it gets traded in our funded account. It's labeled RTY reverse continue. Apply it. And then we're going to put the RTY range trade on. Click news trader. I'm going to load my template. RTY range. All right, the range start time is 9:25:00. Range start time 9:25:00. 6 ticks above the range, 6 ticks below the range. Show the range graphics on chart. That gets checked. Then you go up to the range end 9:30:00. Position 1 is a 1. Position 2 is a 1. Target 1 is 10. Target 2 is 20. The stop is 35. And target 1 stop move is BE for break even. And we trade that in our funded account. Put the chart trader on the correct account. And then you can turn your range on. And you can turn your reverse continue on. You can always put a magnet on the RTY if you want. But I'm moving over to the MNQ. We're changing our oil chart into an MNQ. I'm getting rid of my previous oil setups. I'm going to leave the magnet on oil, the reverse continue on, because I'm going to turn them into MNQ setups. But here's our new trade. So we have a new trade this morning. It's the 925 pre-open, we call it. 925 pre-open. You can do MNQ, and we believe NQ will work as well. So this morning, I'll do MNQ. Let me just think. Yeah, okay. MNQ. So here's the setup. First, I'm going to modify my MNQ magnet. And this morning, I'm going simple. I'm going simple. So one target this morning, couple of contracts. -3 is the default target. And on MNQ, 75 is my stop. Label it MNQ magnet. And the account I'm trading on the MNQ, all these MNQ trades, all my MNQ opens are going to be number 67. Let's remember that, 67. So then we have a reverse continue on the MNQ. It was an oil MNQ, so it's now changing the name label to MNQ reverse continue. Put it on the right chart. And the setup is different for the MNQ. I'll use a couple of contracts, one position, 75 target, 75 stop this morning. 75 is my magic number this morning. And let me check my magnet, make sure I labeled it properly, which I thought I did. And we did. All right. Our new trade, Click News Trader. It's a breakout. Here's the new trade. Testing on it is really good. It really tests well. So I'm going to load in the template. It's a 925. So I'm going to also set up my market open trade because the thing is you have to make a decision. You may want to stay in. I don't want to stay in this trade when the market opens. This to me is a trade that should be over. You should be out before the market opens. So you can still continue to trade your market open. But you might want to have them both on the same chart ready to go because this trade you might get out 30 seconds before the open. So you have to make sure you can manage the two trades. I'll show you. So it is a breakout. You know what? Let me type it in and then I'll load my template. We're starting our bracket at 924.59. The bracket is 30. I'm a little bit concerned that we're going to be facing some news, war news right now. That's what this market looks like. There might be some news that comes out right now. So, that creates extra risk. I don't have to tell you. The first target is 25. The second target,
Tasnim reporting that the
hang on,
Iranian side has stopped communicating with the US side.
Iran has stopped communicating with the U.S.
So Iran stops messaging exchanges with the US in protest against Zionist crimes, according to Tasnim
In
News.
protest
Seeing some weakness
against
in
the
the S&P
Zionist
500,
crimes is what they're
strength
saying.
in the oil and dollar as well.
So that's why we're getting this, what looks like might be a test of the low on the YM. Do you want to let it trade on news? It's risky if you do it. It's definitely risky if you do it. The MNQ tested the low. The YM might not. It might not. This makes this trade sort of much riskier. It makes it much riskier. I'm going to let the low test. It's just what I'm going to do. I know it's
Order
risky and I
submitted.
might regret it. And I'm going to put my stop above the candle. It's not it's not a gigantic target. And it looks like it's going to, I don't know. It almost made it. And now we need that second test to go down or it's going to kill us. This is the risk of taking a news scalp. Not as good as a regular trade. There's definitely more risk if you take a news scalp. I'm just watching it so I can, if I have to move an order or something.
Order filled.
All right, it shot down and we got our target. Okay, so that's nice. Back to the MNQ pre-market open trade. Trigger 924.59, bracket of 30. Target 1, 25. Target 2, 70 ticks. I'm using 68. You exit. Normally we would exit with 70 ticks. The stop, I'm using a 75 stop on the MNQ. Our testing said 50 should be fine. Okay? And I'm going to break even. Break even. If I were trading full size NQ, I would go to break even immediately on the target one stop move. On this particular trade, this morning, I think I'm going to go to break even automatically, but most times I would manage it, not automatically go to break even right away. This morning I'm going to do it because the market's extra volatile because of war news, okay? Let me tell you the setup one more time. So this is the pre-market open trade. Pre-market open trade. Activate 924.59 on the breakout. 30 bracket. You got to make your own risk decisions how many contracts you're going to trade. That is up to you. Target 1 is 25. Target 2 is 70. I'm using 68. The stop is 75. And you want to shrink your stop when you get the opportunity. All right? You do want to shrink your stop. I do want to be out of this trade before the market open because I want to trade the market open also. So this trade I'm calling pre-open, and I'm trading it in my funded account, 67. Apply it and okay it. Let's check our bracket. So we're going to put our time on 0. Put our charts on sim. When you turn on a breakout, when you're in sim with 0 as the time, you'll get your brackets on the chart right away. Let's remove our vertical line on entry, highlight the trade. Optional, show the vertical line on entry. I'm turning it off. Apply it, okay. Here comes our
Order
bracket.
submitted.
That's a pretty
Order
tight
canceled.
bracket for this market with the news right now, so I'm just making it a little wider.
Order submitted. Order
All right.
canceled.
Right click, Today's extra risk, today almost doesn't count for how good this trade
Also from
is.
Iran's Tasnim news
But the
agency,
truth is,
Bill
we'll
Rifkin
see how
said no
good this
talks
trade
until
is. If
Iran's
it
demands
works
on
with
cessation of
news,
Israeli
like
operations
the
in
Open
Lebanon and
does,
Gaza are met.
then we're happy, right? We want it to work with news. That's the truth. So, when you do your testing, you don't have privy to the news like you do when you're in a live market. So that's a quote unquote an elephant in the room. It's not a bad thing. It is what is different about real trading and testing. So our MNQ is on account 67. We have our pre-open. We have a magnet on the MNQ. We have an MNQ reverse continue. And then I want to set up my regular breakout, but I'm not going to turn it on because I still think I want to trade the market open on the MNQ after the first trade, this pre-open trade's over. So I'm going to exit my pre-open trade before the open. So I'm going to add another setup via NewsTrader. Our breakout open, I'm going to go to the template, load it, MNQ new open. That's the way we trade it every morning. It's a breakout, but I'm not going to activate it until my MNQ trade is over because you don't want to have two trades going at the same time on the same instrument, right? In the same account. I just don't have anywhere to put all these extra trades. I'm going to see if this is a manageable way to do this. Most mornings, we'll see. MNQ new open. That's what we're looking for. It's a new date. It's a new month. I can't believe it's June. Load it up. Our MNQ new open. And you don't really need to check the bracket. It's almost the same as our other trade, the new trade. So our market open trade is 929.59, 20 on target 1, 100 on target 2, stop of 125. Go to break even
Oil hitting intraday
on
highs here
target
with
1
Brent
stop
trading above
move.
$94 per barrel. Brings us now
It's
10 minutes
it's
away from the top
labeled
20 hours. This is
breakout
Canadian
MNQ
manufacturing PMI,
open,
where the prior was 53.3.
account 67. I think at this point everyone pretty much knows their market open trade. But ours is one more time 929.59, 35, 30 on the bracket. Sorry, I use a 30 bracket on that. Target 20 and 100. Stop of 125. Target 1 stop move BE. That's the one thing that probably should be removed. Choose the account you're trading and label it, apply it, okay it. If you're trading the new trade, you may not want to turn this on yet, right? When the new trade ends, you can then click the enabled button to put the old trade on so it triggers, okay? Does everybody understand what's going on? Obviously, everyone doesn't have to trade all these different setups. All right? You don't have to trade all these setups. Now, I like Chantal's idea of using a slightly bigger bracket. I think because of the news, this whole trade, this is not the best day to start the testing, to be honest. But we kind of want to know, we want to know if it'll work with or without news because
Tasnim
there's
news
so
saying that
much
the
of this
resistance
news now.
front and Iran have set their agenda to completely
Chantal, what do you
collapse the
think?
Strait of Hormuz
40
and activate
or
other fronts,
35?
including the Bab el Mandeb
40?
Strait.
Yeah, I was thinking 40 also. And it might mean you want to shrink your outer target to 58, because you're giving up some of your profit here, right? You're giving up some of your profit on your bracket. Make sure you're adjusting the right breakout trade, okay? Make sure it's the one that triggers at 9:24:59. Look, this is the fun of all this stuff. Now, if your magnet orders look goofy like that, Ninja has this bug with buttons sometimes. You might have to put the magnet on in a slightly different order than your open trade. See? All right, so let's see what happens, folks. 25, 60, and 100. I like that. I like the bigger stop also. But I'm going to stay with my 75 stop. Let's see how it works out, Chantal. You have 100. I'm using 75. $70. Okay, you're using 70. Okay. I think I'm using 75. Now, the market, it has calmed down a little bit. Okay, it's calmed down a little bit. Look, the reason we're doing this trade is because we notice all this activity on the MNQ this time of day. We would rather, honestly, folks, this is not the best day to take this trade because we're making new lows because of market news. So I'm not going to put a lot of importance on this test. It's important. It gives us an idea if this setup will work. I see what you're saying, Chantal. If this setup will work with lots of news. So we're going to find out. Life isn't going to end no matter what happens. When you have a new
Order
setup,
submitted.
testing is what you got to do.
In 5 minutes' time now at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, get the Canadian manufacturing PMI where the price
Now,
is set to
sometimes
drop
it's not
away.
an instant fill. So I'm going to let it fill.
Order filled.
And the
Orders
orders are
fully filled at the
frozen, which
25 basis
really
point June ECB high for the
enrages
first
me.
time since May the 4th.
Frozen orders. Make sure your Rhythmic Pro gets, you log into your Rhythmic Pro, and now I have to reset everything if those orders remain frozen. This really, really ticks me off. Now, it looks to me like we had a quick profit, and I can't reset anything, folks. I have to go to my task manager. I have to close my Ninja. Reboot my Ninja. And now I'm not going to have time to set up all my market open trades. And right now, as far as I can see, I'm out of that trade. I'm out of my trade as far as I can see. The problem is my setups are probably not going to work because when the system crashes, it crashes all the setups. So first thing we're going to look at, so I'm just not going to panic. If I miss my trades this morning, I missed them. It hit my target immediately and gave me a profit on that trade. All right. I don't know if anybody else had frozen orders or not. But notice, let's see if the range is not, none of my setups are working, so I have to remove all of them. So look, we made money on the YM and we just made money on the RT, on the NQ. I'm going to see if I can get my breakout going on the NQ. This makes me so angry, folks. I just don't even know what to say.
Order filled.
See, I'm hearing weird stuff going on in the background.
Order filled.
Hang on, folks. So it's 9:28. I'm not going to rush and try and get these trades set up. It's not possible. It's not possible. So in the background, there were trades that just it's so ridiculous. I'm going to put my MNQ breakout on. I'm not going to rush to try and get anything else on. Let me see if I can get that trade going. I'll load it.
1 minute now for the Canadian manufacturing
Because it's a
PMI
whole
and the
minute.
market on
It's going to
open
take a
imbalance.
minute.
I'll lead
It's
with
not
the
enough
Canadian
time to
data.
set everything up. MNQ new open. We'll load that up. 929.59 with a 30 bracket. And we'll put that in 67. Apply it. Okay it. Turn on the breakout. I'll try and put a magnet on real quick on the MNQ. I'm just putting a default on.
Ten seconds.
All right, so all I have on is my MNQ. I've got
Order
a
submitted.
breakout.
Order
Canadian
filled.
manufacturing 52.9.
I wasn't on the right
52.9,
chart
market on
because
open
I couldn't
imbalance.
get ready.
S&P 500,
So whatever the deal, that
5
was a
million.
profit.
Nasdaq 100,
Hit all
buy
the
side 53
hit
million.
two
Dow 30,
targets.
buy side 11 million.
Hit the
Mag
first two
7, buy side
targets,
15
and then it
million.
reversed. No surprise there. So rather than rush and try and set up all these trades, let me put a. So I did not have my RTY set up. It looks like the RTY worked on the range. Anybody want to report in? Let me know if your RTY worked. Did anyone else have frozen orders? Did anyone else have frozen orders, or was this just me? I'm just curious if anyone else had problems with their orders. YM, so the markets are not loving, certainly not loving the news. Um, Traders are pricing in a rate hike. A lot of people didn't have orders that fired, so it's pretty frustrating when the data integrity is not there. So I'm not gonna rush. There's no point in rushing. Look, we have ISM manufacturing at
Nvidia
10.
shares up 3% at the open. As
So
ARM
rather than
AGR is
rush
up
into a
12% as
trade
well.
now, because we got our money on the YM, we got our pre-trade, right? We had a pre-trade. We made the new low on the YM. We made a couple of money on the MNQ. And then the RTY, I did not have time to reset it back up, which is pretty annoying. So I'm not trading the RTY at the moment. So we're looking at YM. Obviously, now the market's negative. I always want to have a magnet on so that if you get a good signal, you could scalp the signal, right? So I'm just going to put one position on the IB on the YM with a 35 stop. But now I don't have time really to do any scalping because we got to get ready for ISM manufacturing. So that's what I'm going to do, folks. Everyone had their setups for the open, and it seems like I was the only one
Software
that
stocks
wasn't
extending
able to
gains
trade it
following Friday's rally.
because of data. But a lot of
There's
people had
companies like
orders
IBM up 6%,
that didn't trigger.
Adobe 3%,
So figure it out.
Salesforce up 5%.
It's ridiculous. It's the risk you take when you trade prop. Um, I would say at the market open, and it is a risk we take. It was a market open data failure. And then the company will blame Ninja. Ninja will blame the prop company. And unless you can show that there's actually a real R trader data failure, the accounts will not get reset. That's what it comes down to. If there is a data failure in R Trader Pro, that's the only time they will reset the account. If it's a Ninja problem, too bad. It's just the way it is. That's the way they behave. That's the way they behave. The prop companies. If you want to trade on the open, it's the risk you take. We have so many winning trades, even though it's unbelievably annoying and unbelievably aggravating. The truth is we got frozen orders 5 minutes before the open. So that's really annoying. Now, one of the things I think about for us is we might just be doing so many things on this computer. Streaming, the trade room to everybody, streaming to YouTube. It just might be too much stuff going on.
With a range of 55 spot 4 to 53.
It shouldn't be, but it could be. It certainly could be.
New Zealand dollar drops 1% against the US dollar to a session low.
Regardless, we think we have a good 925 trade. Regardless, we do think we have a good trade at 925. And we're going to continue to trade it. And it won't give you frozen orders most days, probably. Right? I mean, that's the reality of what we see. We don't get frozen orders most days. So on a YM magnet, interesting in that the NQ pulled off the low and the YM has not. It's pulled off, it fell below the low, but the YM is still at the low, making new low. It's going to probably make a new low. Yeah, Nitin makes a really good point. You've got to manage the trade that has the most meaning to your life in importance. If it's just a run-of-the-mill prop account, that's not your prime trade to manage. For me, the RTY is my number one trade to manage because it's our best funded account. And that's also why I didn't rush. I wasn't sure I would get it set up on time. Normally, I don't like to rush into a trade. All right, everybody. Let's talk about ISM manufacturing. And no holds barred. This is a lousy trade. It's a crappy report that hasn't traded well. It's been years now. Our ISM Manufacturing has been a trade that has not had a good, steady setup in a very long time. So I'm not saying don't trade it, but I'm saying if you trade it, understand that its risk is high because it doesn't have a good setup. And let's get into it. All right, we have an ES setup for it, and we have a gold setup for it. We've looked at RTY, we've looked at MNQ, we've looked at a lot of different instruments, and most of them are not very consistent. What we have found is that you can almost always trade the NQ on news. And there's kind of a generic setup that you could consider on a lot of news with the MNQ. You know, you could use a 45, 40 or a 45 bracket, 50 bracket, you know, 50 stop, and targets of 25 and 60. You could do that with MNQ and make the stop 100 on the MNQ 150. It's only 50 cents a tick. If you want to trade the NQ on news that's not consistent, you can use a 50 stop and a 50 bracket on many reports. It's a generic setup. And you'll get a move and you may get a winning trade. But when we look at the NQ or the MNQ and the RTY and they're inconsistent, we move on to something else and we try to find better setups. We don't really go for the whole concept of, okay, well, let's just try a generic MNQ because nothing else works. That's generally not the approach we take. On this particular report, last month, the market was so volatile, we told everybody the markets were too unsafe to trade. I don't know if you remember. And we still took a trade, and it was too unsafe to trade, and it blasted one of our accounts. So I don't believe that that's the case today. Today we just have a pretty typical, pretty volatile, normal news war market, right?
In 5 minutes time now at 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time, we get the US S&P Manufacturing PMI.
There is the
Refined
manufacturing
forecast
report
to
at
remain
5
unchanged
minutes
at
that comes out early.
55.3 with a range of 55.4 to
We have
56
not been
expected.
trading the early trade. In other words, 99% of the time, when there's ISM manufacturing, there's a report at 9:45 called final manufacturing. We used to try trading those. It never really worked out very well. They didn't move well, and we just forgot about it. We don't do it anymore. They just don't trade that well. But keep in mind there is a report at 9:45. ISM is an important event, but it's been difficult in what it trades well. Remember, gold is now '08. All right, gold is now '08. So we have an ES trap trade that did not fill last month, and we're going to still go with it. And we have an MES version of it with a bigger stop. So we have an ES trap. So I'm going to right click the chart, click strategy, click ES trap. Position 1 is a 1, position 2 is a 1. 9:59, 55 on the trigger, and the stop is 25. Label it trap ES. where am I going to trade this? I'll trade this in, I have to trade it in a pretty big account. 46, my big account. And then I'll put a magnet on the ES. One position, default -3 with a stop of 25. And we'll put that on the same account. Label it ES magnet. And that's on 46 also. Make sure the account is on 46, okay? So you always want to enable your trap first. I wrote tap, not trap. So we'll modify it. It's trap. I'm going to get rid of my YM magnet setup because I don't need it. So our ES trap, one more time, 950, 955, stop of 25, position 1 is a 1, position 2 is a 1, all right? That's our trap trade, trading it in account 46. I'm going to enable the trap trade first. I want to see,
1 minute remaining.
I want to make sure I see the cancel button up top. I'm going to put we have an ES magnet. I'm going to program the buttons in the ES magnet. So in the ES magnet, reverse continue, one position, 25 on the stop, 25 on the target. So I have a reverse continue programmed on the ES. And the ES signal, if I get a signal, target 25, stop 25. So I have my buttons programmed on the ES magnet, should I need it. All right. So I can
10
turn
seconds.
on my ES magnet. And we have our ES trap. It's the trap I'm really trading. I'm not going to do anything until
55, spot 1,
here comes the
55,
news.
spot 1, lower than forecast, 55, spot 3.
The manufacturing news that just came out is a little bit lower than expected. Not very much. It's almost as expected. 55.1 versus 55.3. That's not a big difference. All right. You can see the ES happens to be, let's get our chart correct, because remember we reloaded our chart and it was a 15-minute chart when I saved it. All right, so that's a much better looking chart. Got a really good signal on the ES off the low at the open. Now, we weren't watching the ES. We don't trade it very often. So we have a trap ES for the main news, and we have an ES magnet, okay? Now, gold clearly has been 50-50 on this report. 50-50. It's a lot of risk, gold. It's a 50 stop. That's $500, okay? That's $500 on the stop. You might want to trade gold just one position on this trade. All right. I'm just trading the ES trap today, and I'm just going to.
US S&P manufacturing PMI. Williamson, who's
I'm
the
trying to
chief
think if I have an
economist at S&P,
account
says
I
at
can
first
trade
glance,
my
the
gold
manufacturing
in
sector seems to be firing
without
on all
damaging
cylinders, but
anything
the
that
hood
I
of the
don't
picture
want
is
to
not so
damage.
clear. The headline PMI has hit
I'm
a
just waiting for
four-year
a couple
high
accounts
with
to get
strong
rebuilt.
factory
I hope it's
production growth
tomorrow.
for a second
I would not
successive
trade
month
this in a
in
funded
response to a
account.
further market
All
upturn
right.
in order
I would
books.
not
But
trade it in
since
a
the outbreak
funded
of war in the
account.
Middle East, we have seen production and demand buoyed by stock building as companies worry over rising prices
Gold
and
is a
supply
breakout.
difficulties. Brent and
We
US
have
crude
had a
futures
gold
now are
trap trade
rising
on
more
this
than
report as
$5
well.
after Iran's Tasnim news agency says that Iran's negotiating team is
So if you
stopping the
trade
exchange of
this as a
document messages
gold
with the
breakout,
US. Again, we did report this earlier.
Let's
We
change
have
the
posted out
magnet
the
to a
US
gold
S&P
magnet.
manufacturing PMI May
One
report for
position.
those interested.
Stop of 30. Default -3 on the target. We're going to label it GC magnet. All right. GC magnet. And where are we going to trade gold? We could trade it in 29. We can trade it in 29. It's a lot of risk for an account that I like. So I'll trade the magnet in 29. And then if I do a breakout, I'm going to do a breakout with one position. I don't want to risk $1,000 on a trade that has not been behaving all that well. All right. So the breakout, how would I trade this with one position? So it's a 10 o'clock trade, 9, 59, 59. Our bracket is 40. Position 1 would be a 1. Our stop is 50. You don't use the target 1 stop move, so that goes to 0. Probably I would make my target. Look, if this wins, it has very big moves. It has very big moves if it wins. We have small conservative targets because it's very whippy. If you look at the news, the talk, the text, choppy spike, 182 tick reversal, 50 tick move before the news, 180 tick whipsaw. All that tells you is this is a very whippy, choppy, risky trade. Okay? So that's why our targets were very conservative. If you go for big, big, big targets, you might get caught in a whip. If you go for small conservative targets, you might get your target and get out before it goes wild. That happens. So how might I trade one position? To reduce risk because the stop is rather large and because that's what I want to do. It's also an account that I can't trade a ton of contracts in. So we'll do a one position. I should be able to trade
So in 10 minutes time now,
a
at
one
the top of the
position
hour, this is the
breakout,
release of the US
40
ISM
bracket.
manufacturing PMI for
I'm going to
May.
make the
Forecast
target
53 on
40
the prior 52.7.
because if we have a
With a range of
winner, we
54
should
to
easily go
51.8.
40
The
ticks.
prices paid
We
components
have a
forecast
50
85
stop,
from
and
the
then
prior
if the
84.6.
market moves
Employment forecast
30 ticks in my
48.4 from the
favor,
prior 46.4.
move the stop to
And new
BE
orders
plus
forecast
25.
54.8
Move
from
the
the prior
stop to 25.
54.1. Keep in mind we also get the
All
US
right.
construction spending month over month as well. This
So
is
that's how I'm going to
predicted
manage one
forecasted
position.
for 3% from the prior 2%.
Breakout, trigger at 959.59, a bracket of 40. Position 1 is a 1. Target is 40. Stop is 50. And then down below, keep going down. If the market moves 30 ticks in our favor, we're going to move the stop to plus 25. Then I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to label it breakout GC. We said we would try it in account sim for the moment because we're going to test our bracket with 0 time. All right. To see the width, show the vertical line on entry is unchecked already. So we're going to check our bracket width.
Order submitted. Order canceled.
We have to be in sim or we won't see the orders. Don't forget that.
Order submitted.
That's a perfect bracket. I don't love the fact that,
Order canceled.
look at that. If you think this is a safe trade right now in gold, it's probably not. It's probably not. That's really a pretty wild move. That was a 30 tick move, folks. In a nanosecond, 37 ticks in a nanosecond. My recommendation, you might want to Look, we got 7 minutes. You might want to make a decision. If gold doesn't calm down, you might want to not jump into the trade. You might want to just watch, trade a magnet, right? You could trade after the news. Look at the bracket one more time in
Order
Sim.
submitted.
I think the market will calm down as we get closer to 10.
Order canceled.
I
Order
think there's no
submitted.
doubting this is risky, but I'm not trading it funded. It is an account I like, and that is building up. So I don't want to
Order
lose money on
canceled.
this trade. But I'm trading it, and I also have a magnet set up, and I'll set up a reverse continue as well. So 959, 59 is our trigger, the 40 bracket. One position, a target of 40, a stop at 50. If the market moves 30 in our favor, move the
Israel
stop to
tells
plus
citizens
25.
of Beirut's southern suburbs to leave. That's a warning from Israel to the Beirut southern suburbs.
And then we're trying account number 29. It's labeled Breakout GC. Now we made some money in account 29 this morning. There's our breakout. There's our magnet. And I'll put a reverse continue on in gold. Click strategies, click news trader, reverse continue. We'll change our breakout to a reverse continue. Position 1 is a 1. Target 30. Let's go 40 on our target. Gold's so darn volatile. And then our stop, I'll make 40. Now remember, you're not trading all these setups at once. Label it GC reverse continue.
The idea
If you
is
get
to
an
hit Beirut
opportunity
suburbs
after
to
the
test the
news,
market
maybe
continues
you'll
attack.
take a scalp in gold. You could do this on micro gold also. Bigger stop. I'd use probably a 50, 60 tick stop with micro gold. So our reverse continue is one position with a 40 tick target. I'd use two positions with micro gold and a stop of 40. Target of 40, stop of 40. Label it. GC reverse continue. Make sure you choose your account.
So in 5 minutes
Apply
time
it.
now at the top of the hour,
Okay.
full release of the US ISM
And we're
manufacturing
set
PMI
up.
for the
All
month
right.
of May.
Check.
Forecast 53
All my
on the
gold
prior
trades
52.7
are on
with
count
a range of
29.
54 to 51.8.
And our
The
magnet
price of trade
ES, we
components
should be on
forecast 85 on the
46.
prior 84.6.
All right.
Employment index forecast 48.4 on the prior 46.4. New orders forecast 54.8 on the prior 54.1. And we also get US construction spending month over month for April, forecast 0.3% from the prior 0.6.
All right, folks, we have 4 minutes. 4 minutes. Whoops. Now, you don't want to put on your gold high of day, low of day because we're at the low. Look what happens. It starts triggering because you're right at the low of day. That's why we have this off. It turns off the orders for high of day, low of day if you're at the high of day, low of day. That's why we design things this way. Now on the ES, we have a trap trade. That's why I don't have the high of day, low of day order zone. Because a trap trade, it's a reversal trade. We have to manage this trade. It's going to take a little time. We're not in a rush for a magnet. All right. Maybe we'll get a great signal after the news. You could trade a magnet on the ES instead of the trap. You could go for the previous price open or the PP or the VWAP. Those are not unreasonably far away possible magnets. Why am I doing the trap? Because we've been testing this trap and it's had some decent results. We have, a spike sheet on it. The biggest it's moved was 40 ticks, 47 ticks, but that's September. September doesn't count anymore. It's too far away. But if you notice, bigger reversal than the spike, bigger than the spike, bigger than the spike, bigger than the spike. All the reversals, if our trade gets filled and survives, it has a great reversal history on the ES. That's why we like it. We don't just randomly throw a trade on, oh, let's try a trap. We do testing, right? Gold is what worries me on this event. Gold is very volatile, choppy. I hate to give back our money from the morning, even though I don't even know where I got that money this morning. Our orders were so messed up. Now, see, I could send the company the frozen orders. I have the video, but it doesn't matter. It's like what I explained. If RTY Pro,
1 minute
if
remaining for the
Rhythmic
US
Pro
CXM
had a
manufacturing
data
PMI.
problem, then they would cancel the trades, put your account back to where it was before the trades. I happen to make money with the frozen orders. I don't think you saw what happened, but actually, on one of them, I had made money, but an order was left hanging. And when I closed all the orders, it had lost 80% of the profit. Then we made money at the open to get most of the profit back. I didn't even realize that happened until I saw the total. Let's watch. Here we go with the news. Now, the trap trade normally has to get
11
managed,
seconds.
but the gold bracket might need a little management.
Order canceled. Order filled.
What in God's
Order
name was
submitted.
that? I
Order filled.
screwed up.
54, 54, higher than forecast at 53. Prices paid at
Oh
84,
my
spot 1,
goodness. I
81,
know
spot
what I
1, lower
did.
than
I
forecast
made some
85.
money
Employment
on
48,
that
spot 6,
trap
48,
trade.
spot 6, higher than
I
forecast
made
48,
money on
spot
the
2.
trap
New
trade.
orders at 56,
The
spot 8,
gold trade
56,
did
spot
not
8,
work.
higher than forecast
No
54,
surprise
spot
there.
5. Also, construction spending for April at 0.4%,
I'm guessing that
0.4%,
what I
higher than
did on the
forecast
trap is I
0.2.
didn't set my stupid orders. I didn't put my orders in. Yeah, I didn't put my tiers in. So look, my tiers were 2 and 3 ticks, so it filled immediately. What an idiot. I am a complete jerk. I didn't put my
Reports of
orders on.
Russia finance officials tell
And
BBC
nobody in the room
Ukraine it's
reminded me, for
unaffordable.
God's sake. Nobody in the room pays any attention, is what that tells me. Or nobody understands what a trap trade is. Because nobody said, hey, you didn't give us the tiers. I didn't put the tiers in, right? You understand what I did? I didn't put the orders in. So, regardless, I made $137. So, it's the absurdity of trading sometimes. That was a little bit silly, but it did make $137. But the gold trade behaved exactly the way I was worried it would trade, poorly, and it ate up our profits. So, that gold trade was not a great trade to take. The trap we can get rid of. I'll explain what I did when we look at the video in a minute. The news, better than expected. The news is quite a bit better than expected. And that's probably why you're seeing the ES go up. Hold on.
So treasuries extend their job following the ISM factory gauge topping estimates.
All right, I was just listening to what MAGA Rick had to say about the news results. ISM was pretty good results overall. The employment part of it is under 50. They'd much rather see it above 50, but still overall, the ISM news was good. I would not take a scalp here at the moment. It wasn't that good that it's going to be scalpable to a level, in my opinion. And let's look at the video to look at the failure of the gold trade, which we knew was going to be a failure. I mean, I felt very strongly the gold was not safe to trade and only traded it to see how it would behave. So that is what it is. ISM manufacturing, um, the ES would have been perfectly fine as the trap. So we'll stay with our ES. Gold, you got to trade it with a grain of salt. That's the truth because it's high risk, just like we said. All right, let's take a quick look at ISM and what happened on gold. I was watching the trap, so I didn't even see what happened.
Welcome everyone to the Pro
So let's
Trader
take a
Plus.
look.
We're here for the oil.
All right, so it was a 10 o'clock trade. Here's gold. Here's gold. The bracket was pretty big, and it looks like it just was a horrifying whipsaw. That's really what it was. Gold was a horrible whipsaw, an immediate stop out. Okay? Horrible whipsaw, immediate stop. Not much you can do about that. And then the ES, I made an error and didn't put the orders in properly. So let's look at something. Because I didn't put the orders in properly, they were only 1 and 2 ticks instead of 20 and 35.
So again, we posted
It
the
immediately
ISM
triggered.
manufacturing May report, as well as the
So it was
construction
just
spending
total
report
luck
on the feed for those
that we
orders.
made money on that trade. It was just random luck that we made money on it. What I'm trying to see is if I can tell where the price was. All right, so price was 84.25 when our orders went on the market. 84.25. There's a reason why I want to know that. $84.25 is where the price was when our orders went on the chart, and the price went up to 89.75. So you would have gotten filled short with our trap and made money on the way down. And you could actually still be in the trade making money if you so chose. Most probably, most people would have gotten taken out after having a very nice profit. That was a very nice trap trade. All right. So the fact that I put my orders on wrong cost me, it would have been much more than 137 in profit. I can guarantee that. Looking at the number of ticks that it went down. And then gold was just a bad trade. And it appeared like it was not a good trade to take. All right. So a very strange morning this morning. It seems like a lot of you made money, which is really what it's all about. And a few of us had some issues with data. But overall, it seems like most of you made money. And now we have a new trade. to experiment with that looks like it's going to be very interesting. So let's take a look at tomorrow's schedule. I'm thinking of not that much. I'm not thinking much of anything. All right, tomorrow, same time as today, market open, Jolts, and Palo Alto earnings. Okay, so tomorrow we'll be back same time. Any questions before we go? Anybody? Putting on the, right now there's no signals from the ES.
According to a City YouGov
Gold
poll, UK May year-end
did give a
inflation
signal off
expectations
the
fall
low
to
on the magnet.
4.7%.
I don't know honestly that I would have taken that signal, to be truthful. It would have been at least a small winner if you took it. It was a small winner. Any questions? Anybody? Any questions? If not,
City
I'll see
YouGov
everybody
says
tomorrow
UK
morning.
May longer-term inflation expectations
And
fall to 4%.
that's what we got. Okay, everybody. See you, Frank. See you, Sam. See you, everybody. See you in the morning. Francis, see you. Thanks for that download the other day, Francis. Really appreciate that. You know, we both forgot it was on YouTube. I could pull it off of YouTube, but I couldn't download it off of YouTube anyway, so it was great that you sent it. Sometimes YouTube, it takes forever to get it for the streams to process. I don't know why. So the ES is pushing up. Now this gold setup wound up being a great setup. That wound up being a good setup. Okay, folks. I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care.